trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite. Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville.
Welcome to the Hang Loose Podcast. My name is Shanky G. With me, as always,
hey, Spicy Boy.
Spicy. Previously a puddle.
Yeah, it's well, look at this nice new pink background.
Right?
What a good guy for suggesting it.
I looked the wrong way.
We'll switch up. Yeah, it was like 115 out today, dude, and it feels every bit of it. I am going to hang out with Julian later today, and I was like, yeah, I'll probably come over after I disc golf. There's no I am disc golfing. But you know who is disc golfing? No. The fine folks at Great Lakes Disc who sponsor this podcast. They got Michigan weather, so it's humid, but it's not 1,000,000 degrees. You should check them out and use code Hanging Loose for 10% off your order.
Yes, sir. Great transition. Great transition.
I'm the king of segues, baby, but not like these segues. Like after.
Dang, I was like in the presence of Paul Blart.
Listen, face. People call me Paul Blart all the time.
No way.
Yeah.
What an honor.
Well, they're like, you look like Kevin James. I was like, because we're both husky. Off. And then I shaved my head, and nobody said that to me.
Oh man. Oh. How you been?
I've been great. I have this handy new OTB jersey on.
Is that it?
Yeah.
That's it.
So this is the one I tweeted about. Apparently my dumbass forgot to order a team jersey. I could have sworn I would have put money on it that I did, and I did not. And the good homie Sam at OTB was like, bro, I got you. It took less than 10 minutes. Like, I know I tweeted that, and it was astounding then. It's astounding now when I think about how fast he got it like turned around and out to me. And it's not an official team jersey, but it's a nice jersey. It looks like this at the bottom too.
Yeah, no,
and
real slick.
And then he also sent me some team patches, a team Velcro patch, a team enamel pin, and like a bunch of stickers and stuff. And I'm just like, dude, I feel like I wrote on Twitter yesterday, you guys make me feel like an 820 rated world champion.
Oh, I saw that. That's early. Yeah, that's
nice. How OTB makes you feel if you're a member of their team, and I'm nothing special. So I really
can I just interrupt with something quickly?
No, but thank you for asking.
All right, I'll go fuck myself.
Sorry, you just asked so nicely. I had to come back to you with an even-keeled response. Go ahead, RV3. This is what we paid for.
All right, so let's just look OTB website here. OTBdisc.com. Go to Team OTB, and I don't see.
Oh no! Don't do that to him.
I don't see.
Don't do that to him.
Boy on here.
He's on there. I have the patch on my bag to prove it. Anybody you talk to from that company will back me up.
I went on here to go get one of those shirts, and I was like, "Well, I mean, he's OTB team guy, and he's not on here."
That's brutal.
See, they only have you on there if you have some signature item to sell, which I do not. So
they need to put you on there and sell. I don't know.
I did also tweet that they should do an OTB stamped disc, but it's in the style of the NWO logo, and it says only the best at the bottom.
And
sick. He's like, I'm gonna have the art guys work on it. I was like, don't fuck with me, man, because I think that stamp would sell a lot. And if you do see that, even if my name's not on it, you know,
the Spicy Boy Signature Series.
I would love that. I would
be sick.
That.
I bet you we could get your name up on that list, and you click it, and it just goes to a listing for like a dry sack or something. But
whatever they're cheap.
It's just that OTB disc, but you have to go through the step of clicking on his page to find it.
I
would not be
sale
opposed
has to
to
route through Spicy's link.
It's just that close up of my face where I'm like,
That'd be great.
that would be tremendous.
Holy
Yeah, that's really the only disc golf related thing that's happened to me so far this week. So it's just been too hot to play, or I just have been busy otherwise. Tell me about this great tournament you had.
Well, yeah, I had to change my tagline to fit your last story for when you did. So I played in a tournament on last Saturday, and as you can see, I placed second to deadass last with the easiest to say my worst round I've ever thrown, casual or not.
Wow.
It was hold on. I think let's see, RB3. Can you pull that up for me? I don't think you can. It'd take too much time.
What am I looking for? Your results at a PDGA event?
Yeah.
Give me a second.
I'll hold my score. What do you guys think I shot overall through 2 rounds? While he pulls that up.
Worst round you've ever thrown? Is that an exaggeration or like?
No, since I've started keeping score. Maybe not the worst round I've ever thrown, but the highest score. So like comparative to the difficulty of the course.
I'm gonna say you said over 2 rounds.
Yes, over 2 rounds.
22 over.
Whoo! RV3, you got an answer if you haven't found it already?
I haven't found it yet. Well, your answer was the guess was what your score was?
Yeah, over 2 rounds.
2 rounds. You were 17 over par.
Through 2 rounds?
Yeah.
All right. I'm a more kind God than Spicy. No, neither of you. But
can you tell me the name of this event?
I'll put it in chat quick.
And the date. Date would also be helpful.
Caleb's way too late Chris Open.
Yeah.
All right. Our guest has the link, so I told him anytime in the next 10, 15 minutes.
Oh, okay, sick. But yeah, it's the most wooded course I've ever played, like tight lines. There's Wildcat in Iowa, but that has more defined lines. This was 18 holes of, I'll give it a benefit of the doubt, 15 holes of random luck. I mean, even with the best shots, you have to be an inch or 2 offline and not
I think I found it. This was on the 29th in Ponca.
In Ponca, yep. But spare a couple holes.
Played
it was the most
MA2?
random MA3. But
oh boy. oh boy.
Oh man, I'm excited for this.
It was really bad. So after the first round, I was a little annoyed. And
on Twitter.
I got a couple birdies, which made it worth it. But after like 3 holes in the second round, I started it was just funny. Like I told myself going into the second round, I wouldn't take any more 6s. I started with a 6.
I'll just show the whole scorecard. Who cares, I guess.
Yeah. But oh boy, I can't wait for you to see this.
All right, here we go.
Ooh.
That was round 1.
Great. Okay.
Plus 34 for the event.
Wow. I thought I was way over guessing. Now I feel like a piece of shit.
I got smoked by that course. Like, it was full of wasps, spiders, ticks. I was on edge the whole round, sweaty. It was like 110 degrees.
I want to check this because this is going to be funny. Let's find out where you had to stop playing to beat this guy. Hold on. How many fewer holes did you have to play to to get first place? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, right there. Hole 10 on the first round.
Wow.
Sorry, bud.
But that person in first place plus 3 It was, what was the rating on that? Like
Oh, I'm sorry.
923
923.
for 3 over. Like, and normally that course has OB and stuff. They didn't do OB this time.
Normally, they
because
had no OB.
they had no OB other than like surrounded by water. Typical
Interesting.
stuff. But most of the time they have painted lines over ditches and stuff. And I can't imagine what my score would have been otherwise. Just an insane round. I wish I had more time to talk about it. But
They have a course out here like that where it's like rock pathways and then rock flower beds, and there's like the little concrete dividers. So it's called Paseo Vista. So if you don't play OB, you can go 8 or 9 under on 18.
Oh, wow.
And if you play OB, you're gonna be like 8 or 9 over minimum.
dang,
Like it's
all
it
over tight
swings
stuff.
Yeah, it's just there's really small landing spots and really tight greens or really guarded greens, and some of the holes are like, one of them I want to say 14, I think. It's a raised basket by like 20 feet. Like you have to climb steps to get your
Oh, dang.
Yeah, but it's only a 150-foot hole. And so you're trying, if you want to ace run it, you basically have to throw OB. So it's
Right.
really, yeah.
Or some crazy hyzer. Yeah. I wanted to, a little message or a little suggestion for all the TDs out there, all 2 of you listening.
All the titties.
All the TDs out there. All the TDs. You should start carrying a trophy. Just work it into event costs. The what the fuck trophy. And give it to the person that scored the highest score on a hole throughout the entire event.
Just the how.
Yeah, like what the fuck happened? Make it a snowman,
The participation trophies that everyone hates.
right? Oh, we have a Spicy. I think you have full introduction here.
right?
This was
Well, that's
all
funny
you,
'cause
baby.
I made my headline Bruce Blubber instead of Bruce Buffer. But Julian Marquez is joining us actually right now live from Kansas City. Hey, buddy.
What up, dude?
What's up? What's up? Am I on the mic?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, you could drop some sick beats since you have a guitar on. It looks like.
No, I had my fanny pack. I carry it around my chest because I'm always in gym clothes, so I don't have pockets.
Oh man.
What
do you keep
how
in there?
women feel all the time.
What do I keep in here, buddy?
What's in the
have
fanny pack?
Immediately personal questions.
What's in the fanny pack?
my passport,
Nice.
some anti-inflammatories,
Sorry, I asked.
my
Phone
Charger.
and my AirPods. I have
Nice.
my wallet, but I took my wallet out and I have it hanging on this. I have my phone propped up against it so I can have this angle.
Oh,
Nice.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming in, man. How's Kansas City treating you? What'd you have for din din?
Actually, what the? I'm over at my brother's house, and my sister-in-law made some like chuck roast tacos, and it's pretty bomb. So
Dude, heck
good.
yeah.
That sounds good. We had tacos catered for lunch today at work. So how often are you golfing when you're out there? Because there's a lot of amazing courses in Kansas City.
I just played Fox Hill when I first got here. Then I played Rosedale. But the problem is I don't have a car right now. So I can't, I'm not going around anyway. I'm just going to the gym. If I use anything, I'm going up to the gym, working out and doing my thing, coming back home and spending the rest of the time with family. I do want to try that. Is it Black Hoof? I think it's what it is. It's a new course here in Kansas City. I haven't been able to get around to it. And I know that Casey Whiteout's coming here next week, so Bad Rock's getting all done up and prepared for next week's tournament. So I don't want to play there.
Yeah, for sure. It can be tricky. That's always, I mean, if you know when the Memorial is, if you live in Arizona anyway, but if you go to Vista fairly regularly, you can start to see when it's starting to be Memorial time, where there's, they're putting out lines and all that other stuff. So,
yeah, but Memorial is
dude.
fun to play with all the time. Bad Rock is just Dude, that course. I mean, it's been a long time since I've been there, but the last time I played there, it was pretty crappy a course. It's a terrible course in my opinion. It's tough, but it's just terrible. It was terrible when I went there last.
Gotcha.
So, what Phoenix course would you compare it to? Give me something I know.
That's like what's that? Is that Coronado? Is the one where it's like terrible upkeep? Over there on
Contecito?
No. It's like right across. Yeah, it's Contecito. There's another one. I'm sorry. There's another one across the highway on the other side, right next to Contecito. Contecito is good. It's I don't know the name. I played there one time. There's a bunch of hobos like living on the course, and it's
it's Los Olivos.
No. That's true. But we were out there. I was out there, and I played. I was staying on 17th and Bell, and it was the Contecito was there. That's a great course, just quick, easy. And then the one across the highway, started with like an S, like Sweetwater maybe or something.
Sweetwater, yeah.
And I was there. It's an 18-hole course, and it was beautiful. There was no T sign, so I didn't really know where anything was. So I was kind of figuring out. And then once I got to hole, 5, it started getting really rough. Like there was like bums there. I would throw my disc, and I had to yell at them like, "Yo, put it back down." And I got onto like hole 9, and it just smelled like urine, and it was rough to where at the point I just walked right off.
Oh no!
Damn, dude, that's
I was
pretty
thinking
intense.
Bad upkeep, like someone didn't mow this week or something. That's rough.
Oh, yeah, and it could have been the time. I have no idea, but that's the same thing. When I was over there, when I was there at Bad Rock last, it was just there's trees everywhere. There was not an upkeep. Wasn't clean, in my opinion. And it's a tough course. Like if you don't have a clean course and you're playing tough holes, and like say you go out in the woods, it makes it even worse.
Yeah, it's unfair on top of unfair, because you're already in the rough. But yeah, dang,
That's wild. I don't know that I've ever been to a course that's really hit me that hard. I think when I played Rito in Tucson, it was the middle of July, so it was 1,000,000 degrees, but there was like just shattered glass all over the course.
Oh yeah, I see
And I
that
was
stuff
like,
all the time.
What the hell is that? Who leaves glass? Like
The worst
damn
we get
kids.
around here is that course I played last Saturday where I completely shit the bed.
Oh, yeah, your favorite.
The couple times I've been there, I've been chased off on hole 1 from getting attacked by hornets. And then every other time I've played there, there's just like spider webs across the entire fairway. And you're just swatting them away. Like it just gets gross and unkept.
Man, I'll freak out if that happened. In Kansas City, we have all types of terrain. We have rain, snow, hobos, just upkeep, everything.
Rain,
The third
snow,
season.
hobos.
You gotta remember, we have like that kid got shot playing disc golf out here in Kansas City. You remember that?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
A
Yeah.
couple years ago.
So it's hard out here in the Kansas City area. We have some great courses, but it's just if they're not paid attention to by the community, then it gets really bad. There's one in Independence. I can't. It's not. Man, I can't think of the name. I went there one time, and I remember on hole 17 there was a homeless person with all of his clothes hanging on the basket. And my buddy, I was walking off. I was like, whatever. But my buddy had an eagle opportunity, and he walked up to the guy, and he was like talking to him, like, "Hey, man, can you remove your clothes?" So I go there, and he goes, "Oh, for what?" He goes, "Well, this is the basket." He goes, "Oh, I didn't know what that was." And he proceeded to pull out all of his clothes from inside the basket and hanging out to dry. And my buddy puts the eagle and walked to the next one, and I was like, dude, that's the rough part about disc golf is like if the community isn't cleaning everything up and keeping things there, then these courses tend to fall off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
for sure.
I wonder how many people are just like walking around a public park and be like, that's the weirdest grill I've ever seen.
Yeah, I've seen people grilling on
How
them
are you
all the
supposed
time. All the time.
Wild to me. I mean, I guess
I've never seen
we're
that.
the benefit of being in the know of what it is. I can't imagine seeing that with no context and trying to guess what it is.
Oh yeah, it's
But
It's always funny when I educate someone in my life about disc golf, and they're like, wow, what are the holes? You know, when you explain the basket, and they go, I've seen those everywhere. And you're like, yeah, they're all over the place. Like, disc golf's very popular.
Hold on, let's get into that real quick. Did you just say you've seen people grill on the disc? Like, what did you put aluminum foil inside of the basket and then just like?
So what I've seen is they have like charcoal in the basket, and then there'll either be foil on the top, and they just use the heat from the fire to cook up on the top of the basket.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I figured they'd do like foil in the basket and like build a bonfire around the base.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then they hang the meat from like the chains. They just have little like hangers.
That's actually ingenious. Never mind.
That's so smart, but like in my head, that is too much. Like for me to think about, like, hey, how am I going to cook this chunk of meat or this chunk roast? I'm not going to hang it from a chain and pull like Hellraiser style, just have it like meat off the hook. That'd be wild.
It was intense. It's something you see and you're like, damn, like I never would have thought of that because my brain is just so preconditioned to know immediately what that is.
Right.
And
I suppose if you see it and you think it's a grill, you're going to figure out how to use it. So that's funny. Holy smokes.
That's the most wild thing I've seen.
Next time Gannon spits out, we're just going to blame it on steak grease and not an overly
aggressive
speedy putt.
Yeah.
All I can think of now is wanting to try it. Like I gotta try it.
Please document it if you do.
I think it would be cool. I do it on your own basket though. Don't disrespect.
Oh yes, of course.
And also too, just you don't want to run into possibly getting any type of contamination. Yeah, from that.
It's like I got lead poisoning from.
Did you season these steaks? I cooked them at the disc golf course. Oh
yeah. I cooked them on DDO basket. Oh,
enjoy your mice.
Smells like bong resin. That's weird.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So I've talked to you a little bit about it when we've thrown a couple times, Julian. But like, how did you get into disc golf? And I also wanted to know, have you been training or disc golfing longer?
So I started training in 2000. I want to say I was wrestling when I was younger. So like technically I was in there in like early 2000, like 2002, 2001 when I started training. But like that was wrestling. I started disc golfing in 2006. And the story of the reason why I was 16 years old, and me and my friends just wanted to drink and smoke. There's not a lot to do here in Kansas City, and Waterworks was popping. But like you can go out on the Waterworks for like an hour and a half playing that course, and no one says anything to you. If you're smoking cigarettes, if you're smoking weed, if you're drinking beer, no one says anything. Cops don't roll through that area because they just never did. So we started disc golfing then. And then we ended up like on our second day, we found a bag full of discs. Like, and it was like, you could tell whoever left the bag there was one, an idiot, but two, they were like, they had to have been one branded. Cause I guess it would probably have been, that was when like the Innovas were all popping because all we had was Star Plastic.
Yeah.
And there was probably about 25 discs in there. And we were drinking and we just ganked it, and then we started playing with it. So we had a whole bunch of stuff. We ended up like sharing stuff, and I ended up keeping a Nuke, a Rock 3, and a Destroyer. And those are the discs I used. Oh yeah, there was no such thing. I didn't even know what a putter was. I was like, forget this. I used to putt with mid ranges, and then so I started playing that, and it was just off and on. It wasn't like I'd play it every single day. We'd just go out there, and every so often we'd be like throwing it. We'd probably play 10 times a year. And it was all in the summertime on a Friday whenever we want to go drink. And we pregame on the disc golf course.
I love that. I mean, that's kind of how Los Olivos is pretty much. Is no one's gonna say a word to you about anything. Cops roll by there every once in a while, but it's very seldom. And unless you're like stabbing each other, they don't stop.
Yeah. Well, if they patrolled disc golf courses, they would just be there all day. So
that's true.
Dude, I never like. I guess I didn't. I played it way too early for people to be there because there wasn't a lot of people on the course whenever I'd play. So that's why I enjoyed that course a lot. Is there never was anything. Anytime we played with you guys, that's whenever, or with you, Kyle, there was that was when I saw the most people. But every time I got out there, there was maybe one or two people on that course playing.
Well, I think when you go, it's typically earlier in the day, like 11 or noonish, right?
Yeah, I also do go during the hot times.
Yeah, so it's the hot times and everybody's at work or school. So like we don't throw until we all get off work and then we show up and that's when everybody else gets to
that's
the
when
park, so.
everyone else is getting there too. Yeah.
Dude, I literally forgot about that because I was like, damn, a lot of the courses I go to are never packed, but I also play in the middle of the heat in the middle of the day, would be at work. I was like, oh, that makes sense now.
That you're absolutely psychotic. So yeah, it makes, I mean, and you're always out there with like no shirt on, dude. If I did that, we'd have another star in this star system because I'm so the sun just reflects off me like I'm wearing chainmail. So I also wanted to know, like, we've thrown it maybe 2 or 3 times, I think. And the only video that I have of you throwing, which I thought would not be the case, is on hole 2 at Los, and you pull it right into the tree, and you're like, "Don't do that. Don't record that.
Don't post that." Oh, I don't care. Everybody knows because, like, you know, sometimes you have good throws, sometimes you don't. This is the problem. Is like, I like to bite off way more than I can chew, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I play Los Olivos with my putters and my putters and my mids. That's all I play it with. I won't play anything, even though like I could probably do way better and park a lot more baskets if I started going up to like the proper discs. And because I have, you know, trust me, I parked hole 4, and I was shocked when I threw the cicada. I was like, oh crap,
Yeah.
maybe I could. Oh, I throw the scorch, and I'm putting it there. I'm like, oh, maybe that's why. But like, I just want to play with mids. That way, I can start figuring out and unlocking my form because that's a test course. Like, to me, you don't have a lot of courses where you can throw those type of shots. Or like on what is it at Vista? There's no way I could play that round with putter and mid ranges, and then feel good about myself. You know. That's the thing.
Right.
So I shanked that shot. I'm so bummed.
That's okay. Every time I'm out there, I'm hitting trees. So last week, I threw a roller unintentionally on hole 4. I was trying to, or it wasn't a roller. It was like the real low skipper shot where it just rides the ground, you know.
Yeah.
And I threw that on hole 4 short, and on the way to the basket, this huge branch just falls out of the tree right behind the basket. I was like, I've never hit a tree and not hit a tree at the same time, but I did today for some reason.
That's actually pretty wild. That's actually wild because I thought you were joking on that story. I was just like, oh, whoa, me. And then it's real. It's a real story. You dropped a tree, dropped your disc.
It was wild. It was just kind of like low on the ground, and then up here, not even touching it, this branch falls. And I was like, oh, all right. Well, they had a tree fall at the Beehive Classic that I filmed up in Utah, in the middle of an FPO card. This huge, it's like a 50-foot tree, just comes slamming down right in the middle of 14's fairway.
When was that?
June. Oh, God. It was the 13th, 14th, and 15th, and it fell on the 14th. Yeah, it just happened a month ago. Not even.
Yeah, I think I remember hearing about that.
Yeah.
And I remember watching it, watching all the highlights and them talking about it on coverage.
You mean my coverage? Thanks for
Was it
watching,
your
Julian.
turn?
He's a fan.
He's a fan.
Yeah. So like, I watch a lot of stuff on YouTube, and I do. I swear, I want to say I watched that. What tournament was that?
The Beehive Classic in Ogden. It was on Terry's channel.
I think I swear I've heard that.
Yeah, the
massive
coverage
tree.
just came out this week, so a huge ash tree fell. It was wild. It was. If you watch the MPO round 2 coverage, you can see the tree because it's in the middle of the fairway for MPO that day. And so it's not this little area of the fairway is blocked. It was like all the way across the fairway.
Here's my question to you guys. Do you guys watch a bunch of YouTube content of every type of disc golf deal? Disc golf battles, disc golf, promos, disc golf, everything outside of the DGPT.
Yeah, so I used to before my kid was screaming all the time. But I used to watch it all. I mean, Foundation, Bonanza, all the littler channels, the disc reviews. There's a channel that I watched that I really enjoyed for like the science side of it, and it's like Disc Golf Down Under, I think. And they did a lot of like deep dives into like the physics of it and stuff. So yeah, absolutely. I consume all disc golf media too much, probably.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I like that.
I don't have a ton of time.
Mm-hmm.
I watch a lot of other stuff on YouTube, but I also enjoy disc golf. I will say my favorite disc golf content that I get that isn't just like around is all of the off-season Jomez stuff. So like the putting game and like really finding ways to kind of celebrate the sport without playing the sport. I love stuff like that.
That's
I'm a
awesome.
sucker for that stuff.
I have a question for you guys if you've seen it. How do you guys feel about Urban Disc Golf, that channel?
I like that. I actually was
You
about
do
to
like
bring
it?
that up. So look, this is one thing I'll tell you. In my line of work, everything's super. Like I watch film, and I spend a good amount of time watching like fights from all around, every weight class, every person, highlights, all that good stuff, breakdowns, movements, technical stuff. And there's a point that I need to remove myself from it because it becomes so much. It just becomes you just overload, right?
Right.
And so I love and enjoy watching mindless content. Now, when I watch coverage, it's mindless, but I get upset too much. And it's just because there's a lot of commercials and everything. And it just like, I just want to watch disc golf. So when they pull out the urban disc golf, these guys are having fun. There's really no stress, whether they win or not. They could talk beef, but you also get to see opportunities of them throwing discs in like areas where you're like, yo, dude, if you throw this a little to the right and it goes over the bridge, you're hitting a car in Vegas, or you're pelting a citizen somewhere over here. Like you have to be smart. Because I shanked it on hole 2 and I hit it a tree. There's no way I can throw it down this tunnel without throwing it over the bridge and hitting some car on the Vegas. Like, I think that's entertaining. It's awesome and exciting.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's a lot of fun in concept, and actually watching it, they look like they go to least populated areas, or even at like bright and early in the morning, so no one's out walking around, kind of stuff. Which I do appreciate that. I worry it's going to lead to a bigger issue, like they actually do throw a frisbee into a car on the freeway.
Yeah, I think
it's a bad look, but it's a lot of fun as a concept.
That was our first one, right? That was their first episode, and then I haven't seen them really do anything. They've been in more secluded areas, like they played inside of I want to say like they're at a factory. They played at one of the arenas. What was that? The arena with I think that was in San Francisco. I want to say. I don't know exactly where it was, but they played there, and like that stuff's fun to me. Like I think it's awesome.
Oh, absolutely.
Also, like the worst thing, like I watch a lot of Ezra's channel. Aaron Gossage just started doing. Barella started getting on there. Burr has some of them. Alden Harris has some cool ones. and so does Paul Eulenberry. I think the best thing Paul does is the Brad versus the Bruiser. I think those are the
Oh,
greatest.
that's so much fun. Yeah.
Those are the greatest ones.
Him talking smack to Cupcake in that episode. Was it Cupcake? I think
Yeah,
it
it's
was. In
Cupcake.
that
Yeah,
episode, it was just, I mean, that's
He
peak.
said, he goes, you're falling off. I'm trending. I thought that was the funniest thing ever. I have a list of Brad quotes on
Oh,
my
that's
phone, which I
incredible.
would pull it up. And I told Paul he needs to just, at the end of each year, just throw out all the highlights of his just incredible quotes that he says. Because he's a man of many words and impactful ones. But what I enjoy the most is that no one knows who these disc golfers are. All we see them is live, right? We see them on there, and I played. I was up there at the at Kayla Visca's camp at the Preserve, and I was there, and I was on the bag for Paul, and we were playing against Gossage, and when they're in the zone, man, Gossage is the funniest person to be around, the most educational. He's so awesome, but when they're playing, they're in a different mindset, and I can't joke around with them, mess with them, and do whatever. So I get to watch them play, which is it's incredible to see their mindset when they're playing. But no one ever gets an opportunity to see who this person is. You know what I mean? No one gets to see that. So these channels on YouTube allow you to get to personalize the disc golfer and understand a little bit more about Gossage. Understand how hilarious he is. He's the funniest person to be around. His laugh is hysterical. And I feel like there needs to be a channel where they play tournaments, but there's no pressure. When we went and played Funky Farms back-to-back years over at Ben Askren's deal, all the players enjoyed it. They loved it, but you get to see the personality of all these, high-level disc golfers, and they get to have fun, but in the tournament, they can't just have fun. So, you don't know who the hell they are.
Yeah,
I think Skins does a really good job of bringing that out of players, because it's it's just enough stakes to make them a little stressed, but it's still just for fun. So they're talking smack and they kind of mean it,
No, absolutely. Skins does a good one, but it's just not too often, and that's the thing that I don't enjoy. It's just every now and again. I asked Luke because I wanted to come out there. I asked Luke because we played on the same card as him at the Preserve, and he was telling me, he was giving me some dates, and I was like, man, I don't know if I can make those, but I would love to be out there for the Skins because again, it's fun in that meaning. But I would like to have these guys come out there, no fans, to be able to watch. And you just have them team up with someone, or if a fan wants to pay to be on that deal, have them pay, and they have a channel where they play around and they just talk trash to each other, and their fans talk trash, play doubles,
Yeah.
And I think it would be great content.
They do something like that at D-Glow, right? Bert Kreischer was just involved this year. They do a charity skins or something, and they pull cards for some of the fans get to throw shots. And
they do. They'll do X amount of holes, and each person pays to throw on the hole with that, play a double with that player or that celebrity.
They did it for Ledgestone last year.
Was it Ledgestone?
I think that they're going to do that again this year. They have a bunch of stuff coming up with Ledgestone.
That's cool. I would love to see that in a lot more.
I need to get on that
versus
celebrity
chumps,
list.
Yeah, I think it would
when
be
that was a thing.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think the fans. I think the fans make these disc golfers kind of hide themselves a little bit more. And because think about it, you're in front of people that idolize you.
Yeah.
So you have to keep a persona on. Because when I play with these guys, and I've gone out here or out in Arizona, and we played Vista, and there was a 12-man group with Tristan Tanner, Adam Hammis, Barella, Ricky, who else was it? Gossage, Cupcake, and you keep going with these names, right? And we're playing doubles, and we were just trash talking nonstop to where stuff that would never go on coverage, and it is funny. And you see them burning, Gossage for missing a throw on Worlds, and then Gossage is sitting there like, well, at least I was in second place. Where were you at on that day? And it was just like great
It's the
comebacks
best.
that were just like, oh, that was good. That one, you got zinged, but you zinged it back hard. Like, and that's like the stuff that I feel like the sport kind of needs to bring in more people is just listen to the fun banter back and forth.
Yeah.
I love Raz rounds, man. Every once in a while, we'll do a Raz round at Los for Wacky Wednesday. I mean, I haven't been to Wacky in forever because I host bingo, but like, I remember my favorite zing I ever threw at somebody on Raz round is there's this 10-year-old kid Mason who was on our card, and he was getting ready to throw on 7 long, and he's right in the middle of his walk up, and I was like, your parents didn't want you.
Oh no!
Oh god!
He's like, huh? Dude, I love Raz rounds, man, because I will get atrocious with it. I have no holds barred, basically.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Yeah, I think that puts it fun because like Foundation does a great job, and I don't mean to like plug all these different YouTubes on yours, but I think Foundation does a good job because they play all these fun games that make disc golf more fun than what it really is to the natural eye. Like if you go out there and play golf, unless you like and love golf, like ball golf, you're not going to really want to play it. Like I've told a lot of my friends, like, hey man, like come play this, like, and they're like, nah, man, I could do something better with my life. Literally, I hear that a lot. Like I can't spend an hour doing that. And so like playing it around where it's like, okay, here's the stakes, like whatever, this you're playing doubles or best shot or like just having fun with it, and it makes it fun. Like Ezra's doubles every location they do, bringing on 2 extra people with. I think it's him and Gossage that do it. I think those are great rounds. I wish like Gannon Burr would start picking those up more so we could have more content to watch. I wish Alden Harris would do the same thing. I wish Julian would do the same thing. But a lot of these guys tell me when they're on tour that those type of video rounds, they hog the
course, essentially.
fairways, the course. Yeah.
I can see that. Yeah. Makes what would have been, an hour and a half practice round be 3 hours, lugging around a camera, trying to set up shots and stuff. I mean, I can see as a touring pro that you just don't have the time or energy to do that. But as a fan, it's amazing. I've loved seeing Yuli kick up his content production lately. Before he would do stuff in the off season, and then during, tour time, his channel would be dead. Now we've got Brad versus Bruiser, and he does the Yuli report and all that stuff. So it's cool to see a lot of the pros getting into more of the content creation, because I think you're right. It's going to lead to, that's how we grow the sport in a real way after post COVID.
That's how I got onto it, was YouTube. I loved trick shot videos, and then I thought the ones with frisbees were the hardest ones. I was like, dude, it's so hard to control a frisbee. Like, how do you do that? And then the algorithm just got me to, I think it was Paul's perfect round at the toboggan.
Yep.
Was the first round I ever watched. And I was like, this is incredible. Like I need to know more about this. So I agree with you. It's going to hook more people that way.
Absolutely. And I think, DGN trying to hide Jomez and live coverage behind a paywall isn't doing any favors, unfortunately.
Yeah, for sure.
I would. What do you guys think that disc golf needs to branch out in society more and to get more views?
Kids, we need to get kids involved either through PE classes, like a curriculum that way, more widespread, more courses. I mean, truly, there's a lot of courses, but there's a lot of people that would play disc golf otherwise that don't have courses within accessible range, because a 30-minute drive is still a 30-minute drive to a 14-year-old kid. You can't talk mom into driving you hour round trip to go play disc golf.
Yeah, the 30-minute drive is the same thing for me. What are we talking about? That's why I kept going to Conancito and Los Alamos, because they were both right. They were like 5 minutes away from both the places I was staying at the time.
Yeah. Hooking kids and just more accessible courses, keeping it free, keeping it cheap. I mean, that's how it's grown to be the size it is now. and the unfortunate money grabs are we're going in a backwards direction. But yeah, I think if we can actually get a curriculum to like pitch to schools. I mean, I know Edge has them, but it's hard to get it widespread. I think if we could,
Yeah.
every third school taught frisbee golf as part of their curriculum every year, I think player numbers would go way up.
I could see that. I think it would be hard to implement in a school, though.
Agreed.
They don't even let us play softball at public school because there's too much of a risk of a child taking a ball to the face.
Yeah.
But throwing sharp discs, I don't think they're going to be like, let's let sixth graders do it.
Yeah. No kidding. Yeah, I did the fifth grader thing and split that kid's nose open. So
classic.
I'm pretty sure in high school we played something similar to like disc golf, but it was like ultimate frisbee / disc golf, where we would like we didn't have baskets, but we had like poles.
Oh, like tone pole, yeah.
Yeah. And like we would throw that and like we'd play and just have fun or whatever. And then I got ISS that day because I threw mine over the fence and then I jumped the fence and then I just hung out all PE in the woods. And so, but that from that game we ended up like getting real hooked on beer pole. Do you remember that? Do you guys ever heard of that?
Beer pole? No.
It's called beer pole. So like you get two poles and you put them probably about 25, let's say the same distance as the circle's edge from the basket from each other. And you put a glass beer or a beer at the top of the pole. And then what you do is you have a disc and I throw the disc at the pole. If I hit the pole and it knocks the beer down, you can only catch it with one hand. Like you have to have a beer in hand. You can catch it with one hand. And if you do that, you take a drink, 1 point. If I hit the pole and it falls and you can't catch it, I get 3 points. And then if I hit the beer right off the pole, I ended up getting 5 points. So similar to like what is it, like cornhole, but you just keep attacking the pole. So you have you have one disc and 2 people on each side, and you're just throwing it out there and have
That's
to have a
wild.
So
I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, that sounds like it would be fun.
Yeah, that's what we learned.
Way to waste beer.
Yeah, no, for sure. But that we're high schoolers all the way to college, and we didn't care. That the excitement of that game was awesome.
They hadn't quite figured out like let's just put water in there and then we can save our drinks.
Yeah, we didn't think of that. We were like, oh. But yeah, we would play that all the time, and we got it because of school. Like we kept throwing it to the pole. And one of like my buddies was like, dude, we should put a beer on top of that. And I'm like, okay, how do we make the rules? And they just were like, let's do it cornhole style and do it like that. Cause like there's times where you hit it's not hard to catch it. Like when you see it going to the pole, you got a long distance. And you're talking about a normal disc or a normal frisbee. It's not flying super hard so you can catch it. But if they land it and hit it straight on, those things fly. There's no way of catching it.
That's interesting.
Fun facts. But yeah, I think disc golf, to make it more known, obviously is the content on YouTube, having more personalized like the athletes, and also like obviously if you can get on ESPN or some other network that can blow it up to get people excited. I don't think I will say this right now. I don't think the DGPT is doing a great job. I think they're kind of harming us when it comes to it because they only choose specific players that they're going to show. They only choose specific highlights they're going to show. They build certain players up that have already built like status, right?
Right.
And then they always put the same, commercials on all the time. Again, I understand you have to pay for sponsors, but you could pay extra, which they have on there. And even though you're paying for ad free, you're still getting ads on there. Mm-hmm. And it's just, I think like if people pay to watch disc golf, they want to watch disc golf. If you put a $300 no ads and have 2 people talking the whole time, I bet you people would pay more money to make sure they don't see the same ad over and over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could absolutely. Yeah.
I could see that. I definitely don't. I mean, unless they really shift their feelings on it, I really don't want disc golf on ESPN because they shit on disc golf every time there's a highlight that makes the top 10.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, fucking frisbee golf, Jim. What do you think about that? It's like, you're not like you get your ass out there and throw a disc. I would love to see a doubles tournament where it's like 6 pros and the 6 Sports Center anchors, and we're gonna see how well they fucking do at throwing a disc, and then we'll see if they talk shit again. Like, it bugs me so much with that attitude.
Get it on Barstool. Like, get Barstool involved into it and have it on there if you don't want an ESPN. But like, the reason why people make fun of it on ESPN is because it's unknown, right? If you're talking about athletic sport, like, no one's really going to show any like famous sports that have to do with athletics. Like, so golf, you have to have a certain sense of athleticism, but you don't really, right? Like, if you're talking about football, you have to have straight athleticism. Basketball, you have to have athleticism, you have to have skill, you have to have talent. And like, I mean, they have cornhole on there, Yeah. You remember how much trash was talked whenever cornhole was on there? And it's still on there. It's still getting shown on there. Like, I see highlights of cornhole all the time. It's like, why is cornhole getting more love than disc golf?
I think I saw something once that cornhole is so much cheaper to produce, especially for like ESPN, because you need like 2 or 3 static cameras, 2 commentators, and that's it. You don't need a camera crew following people down fairways.
In 100-foot by 100-foot space versus having to lug equipment around a whole course. I get that, but at the same time, like, as a pretty damn decent cornhole player, I find disc golf so much more exciting to watch.
Oh, 100%.
Like,
100%.
It's not as long, And the thing is like, okay, so this is what you do. If the DGPT would just have, so ESPN will pay you to do all that. So they already have all the filming. They already have all like the stuff. And all they need to do is ESPN will pay for them to have it on their network. And then it would be good like that. And they can do all and manage all their stuff. The UFC gets paid by ESPN because they're the ones that do all the production, all the editing, everything when it comes to their fight deal. And ESPN pays them to put it on ESPN Plus, things like that. And I think that would be a route than having on the DGPT network, because let's be honest, like, no one wants to watch a round and you're going to see Gannon Burr and Luke Humphreys on 17 battling it out, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, let's put them in the smallest box in the corner and then have 3 ads going so you can see that. And it's like, no, this is a very like important moment in this battle on finals day, and you're gonna put your ads on. Like, yeah, we're watching, but dude, terrible timing. And it's like, what are we talking about here? And then
Zanfell or something.
Oh, it's rough. And
halal guys.
Oh yeah, halal guys. Or some,
I know we're two holes away from the finale, but are you hungry?
Right. You should leave right now in the middle of this and go get falafel.
Oh yeah, let me go grab halal guys. I respect halal guys more than the majority of the the stuff that goes on there. Have you seen some of the commercials that are just like, yo, like, did you guys really pay for a budget on this like video? Like, is this what you're thinking of? Did you guys remember the guy that was like, he was promoting his disc shop and like he was talking something. It was so long, and at the end of it, they taped him to the like the cabinets, or like in the warehouse. They taped him to like the disc shelves, and like they all walked off and left him. It was like, come on, guys,
that sounds like a Danny commercial. Danny Lindahl.
It was so bad.
I love marketing. I would love to sit and like figure out goofy.
Shank knows this already, but the one that gets me is the stupid Eric Oakley whale sax one, because that cut is terrible. Like, you could time that cut so much better than they did. is the one cut at the end of the commercial where he claps his hand together and he goes from wet to dry.
And he moves over like an
claps
inch.
like twice and moves an inch. Yeah. There's so many ways you can make that better.
Oh no, it's perfect.
And what's crazy though is that like they do that in like they're like goofy stuff will get you to like do it. I don't remember them. I only remember the serious ones. Like
really?
Not the serious, but the good ones. When it's dumb, I immediately tune out and I can't watch it. Like I think it's like, man, your acting's terrible. Like we all know the Zuka Cart ones. We all know the like the halal guys. We always see that stuff up there. What is it? We know the Discmania disc, the I guess Discraft will throw some stuff up there. Do you remember the one with Valerie Monahondo and her husband? They were like cooking sandwiches. Do you remember that one?
No.
Yeah, I remember it. It was a rough one, but
there was one like that with Gannon and Calvin. I think it was for like
the putting
Flight Factory maybe, or some retail store or something. That's the problem with it, right? Is there was too much star power with not enough brand.
I like the commercials. I think are Latitude 64, where the girl's in the parking garage and she walks up and part of the garage has fallen onto her really nice Mustang. And she just stops and takes a deep breath, and it's like, I'm golfing tomorrow.
At least I'm just golfing.
Like I love those commercials. That has been me countless times.
You know why you like those commercials? Because it's fucking genius. That's why. The marketing behind that is insane. Like it's well thought out. It's a funny commercial. It's not too long. It's not crazy and bombastic. It's good marketing.
Shaggy over here.
Yeah, bombastic. They had one. They had a recent one, and I can't. Latitude 64, and I remember it. I saw it twice, and I love it. But like at the end of it, the athlete gets up and he's like, "Dude, this is so dumb. Like I'm leaving." And literally gets up and leaves. And it's like, "Yo, that's exactly what I was thinking too."
Yeah,
and they got me. Like it was perfect. It was a perfect.
Was it the one where he's pretending to be the superhero? He's like, whatever, man. And then he wakes up and they're like, you're dumb, dude. And they leave.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And it's like, dude, that's a perfect like advertisement. Because like, it's interesting. It's not long, but when you have these long ass ones, like the EDO Sports one, I love them. I think they're awesome shoes. And I do that, but it's like, come on, dude. I don't want to sit here for, it feels like 60 seconds watching this really unthought out, like realistic deal. Like just give me, if you want to do a 15-second video, that's my attention span. Put me right back on the disc golf.
Yeah. Zuka.
The Zuka one's really memorable. I also like the Calvin Heimburg one for Squatch.
Oh, that's actually one of my favorite commercials.
It's just like quiet. Him in the forest, and it's like ASMR basically.
I love that commercial.
I love that commercial.
Oh, I haven't seen that. I stopped watching these commercials. Like the moment it gets up, I put my phone down and I walk off.
Oh wow.
Because I know I got like 60, 70 seconds. Like I know it ruins my day when I watch, like when I paid extra money to make sure I don't get this. Because I'm all for, helping out the DGPT.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. I want to blow up disc golf, but like when you put stuff up there that's just like it doesn't make sense, and we watch it in a 3-hour time, we probably have like a 35 minutes worth of unscripted, untimed at the worst possible moments to watch these like ads.
And it's really only like 5 minutes of ads that you have to watch for 35 minutes because they just play the same ones over and over and over. It's I don't know. I'd pay more 100%. Like I'm the type of person you get 4 cards, you follow 4 cards. If you know that any of these like star players aren't at the top, put them down there, get the camera on them, have your 2 star cards, and pick, a group of people. If you see like what Saturday, Ricky was down, I think he went -2 the first day or whatever. Ricky's down at the bottom and he was with a bunch of other players. I wanted to see that round, that Ricky round where he shot 10 under and got himself back into like the talks of the tournament. I want to see that round. How did Ricky do that? You know what I mean?
And some of these times, like we're watching, we watch the star players on the lead card, but like sometimes they're down at the bottom and their cards are insane. And then they hit these unrealistic lines that put them on the lead card the next day. And you're like,
Yeah.
that's the disc golf I want to see. I want to see these guys fight back. And instead of playing the ads, go spread it back over there and let's watch him play, or watch them play, male and female.
Yeah, 100%. Like, yeah, that Ricky round isn't covered, is it? Even post produced because he was like 90th or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
And that's part of
crazy storyline, but I mean,
that's part of, so before we ever film like the memorial or the big arm challenge or whatever, we have essentially, it's me and Terry and maybe one other person talking, but it's like a production meeting, and we're like, okay, well, this person's on this card, this person's on that card. Do you want to film? So like when I filmed Kristen Tatar, of course she was on the feature card, but then the next day she wasn't because she didn't have the best round. And then she came back for the third and fourth days and ended up winning. But we didn't have all of her coverage for that reason. So, I mean, the DGPT, I don't know what they have in terms of resources. I know Terry's a very, very tight budget for everything. So we do kind of have to pick and choose because we can't have somebody everywhere, obviously. So
there's also a huge difference between Terry Miller and the Disc Golf Pro Tour.
Right. That's what I'm saying is I don't know what they have in terms of resources.
The expectation there should be different though. Like it's okay that Terry only has like it's a totally different product in my head. Even though it's in theory you're watching the same thing. It's a pre-recorded round with commentary over it. In theory it's the same thing, but it's like so far removed from let's show a commercial. Okay, like the production value of it, and just the way it's shot is completely different.
I mean, you look at any live production from DGPT, the production value isn't great. I think the DGPT has a lot of people fooled in thinking that they're this higher organization than they are. When they're even fairly recent in organization, right? Like 2018. I mean, that might be a little too recent, but they're new. The DGPT is new.
And they're learning, and rightfully so.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
I don't want to sit here and crap on them because they're doing a good job and they're doing what they need to do the whole 100%. Time. So like
this stuff's just
these are just things. These are just criticism. Like like what's the term I'm trying to use? Like not corrective, but it's just nice. It's being kind. Like hey, these are the things that I'm critiquing this. I still support you. I still care about it. But like
it's constructive criticism.
Yeah, that's exactly constructive. So, like Terry Miller, when I watch his rounds, I love them because they're exactly what I want to see. We're going to cut the bull crap. We're going to go straight to it. We're not getting blown up here. He has a player on there that's feeding out, the information. And Terry's a great and an exceptional, host. Like him talking on that, I enjoy. I always text him whenever he's on the mic, and I'll text him everything, what I see and stuff. I'm like, And I joke with him back and forth because I truly do. I love it when he's on the mic. I love it so much. I also loved whenever we saw Zach Melton come out there and he was on the field.
Oh, yeah.
He had a lot of good one-liners. I heard Big Germ was on it one time, and I loved seeing his point of view as well. But also I know these guys personally. I never got to meet Nate Doss. I haven't yet. I think he's awesome when he does it as well. Who else was on that? But yeah, these guys, like, I think they do a good job, but also I'd like to hear a little bit more of them, like bringing up a little, how do you say, like, they always give their color commentating, like how the disc is supposed to go here, how to go there. I'd like to hear some banter back and forth. Like, and when I was on this hole throwing, I'll never forget so-and-so threw this shot and it just completely rizzed me. Like, if you remember 2018, I was on this hole on the lead card, and he threw this shot, and it was so good that when I got up there, I was like, I don't know what happened. I just threw it right into the trees. And, like, just get some more information than just talking about what we're seeing, kind of, like, draw us in there. And that's usually during the dead space when they're walking from tee box
Shot
to
to shot,
first
yeah.
draw.
I think the Joe Mez boys do a great job of that. The banter
Yeah.
during the commentary and stuff
Mhm.
like that. Sometimes it's a little too much. I think that's just another symptom of disc golf being so young still, is we just don't have the
Everybody got to find
personalities.
their feet. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have the big like really big personalities like other sports do. Yuli and Germ are great for where we are now, but they're no like
I miss
JR and whatever the other
Nate
guy's name
Sexton.
is. Like,
Nate Sexton will always be my favorite commentator. I think
Yeah.
he's the
Oh,
perfect
absolutely.
blend. He's the perfect blend of humor and info
mhm.
and keeping you engaged. And like you
And
said, it's the
great
same.
radio voice.
Yeah, the same kind of thing that you were talking about, Julian, where you're like, oh, if you remember, this is the hole that I aced where the fox peed on my disc or whatever. Like
Yeah.
that's the kind of stuff he'll bring up. And I love that.
I'm totally with you on that, Spicy, up until he's in the booth with Nate Doss and Terry Miller. Because when he's on live, I cannot stand Nate and Nate together. There's something about them going back and forth that irks the shit out of me, and I can't watch it. Like, I would so much rather just Nate be on Joe Mez with Germ and Yuli and Nate Doss be on commentary live, and that's fine. Putting the both of them together is just, it makes me want to turn off my TV.
Recipe for disaster.
This is nothing against Nate Doss, but do people like him as a commentator?
I don't mind him. I really don't. You guys have personal interest in him, though.
Yeah,
That's
I don't feel poorly about him. I don't feel anything about Nate Doss being a commentator.
He's gotten better than he used to be, because he used to have like 3 or 4 go-to phrases, and just like the ads, hearing that over a 3.5 hour period, you're like, okay, dude,
right?
We get it. Like,
he said champ again for the 20th time.
Yeah,
but I think that's what it is. Is that like, so you have your 2 analysts, and then you have a color commentator, right? And that's just how to bring flow. Like you people want to have insight on how the game's being played at the current moment, and then 2 people that can analyze everything and break it down in a proper way, right? Like I would always be a color commentator when I sit down on the mic, because I'm going to tell you how a fight is breaking down versus, when I've been on the mic with people, there's color commentators that can sit there and tell you literally exactly what's happening right in front of them. And it's so insane and crazy in like that amount of time. I could never do that. I could, but I'm not going to. And the thing is, like, I like when Nate Doss is on there. I think he hasn't served me wrong, but I do think that there's a lot of hidden beef inside of disc golf, which is, I wish it was more vocal and more open, to where, like, when some players are talking about other players on the mic, they're trying to be nice, but they don't like each other, and they always try to refer it back to them. And so that's why I feel like they may not have beef, like the double Nates may not have beef, but they played against each other. They've lost to each other. They've won against each other. You know what I mean? Like, so there has to be some sort of like, dynamic. You're always going to have that, right? Yeah. They're always going to have that.
Yeah, and I wish we had more rivalries in this sport, like true rivalries. Like there's there's
Paul and Ricky, and
and like, but even them, they're cordial with each other. Like they don't act like they don't like each other. The most interesting feud to ever come out of disc golf is Brodie and Paul. And that's just because people don't know what happened. It's probably mundane.
We'll see what happens with Silas and Drew, though. That was pretty cool. The diss track.
Oh yeah, Silas. Yeah,
that was out of nowhere.
Right. It was.
That's a different style, though. I like the beef. Like I want to know. I want to know from both sides on the Paul and Brodie beef. Brodie brought it up in his podcast and invited Paul onto it, and I literally messaged Paul, and Brodie all separately, and then Paul and Brodie together, Eulenberry, and I was like, hey man, I'm down to bring this beef down. I'll make this stuff happen. I want to sit there, put me in a referee deal, and have the same exact concept how you guys have me in the middle, have you two go. I'll give you guys rounds where you guys can speak your mind, and I'll be there to settle it down to make sure you guys don't like attack. Like you get your point across. Let's go there and let's squash the beef or let's heighten the beef.
Mhm.
And I think it would be awesome, but they didn't respond back to me. But McBeth was like, "Yeah, I'll go on there. Pull me on." And
Like around the
was like,
horn.
okay.
That would be great.
Right.
I think it would be
See,
I've-
perfect.
That's
I've
some
been
real
saying
drama.
for years that the content in disc golf that's missing is a professional wrestling level scripted disc golf show.
They tried that with Jomez House.
No, but like way more, like turned up to 12.
Just like
And we'll start with
And
Cat
Ezra
versus
from the top
Macho
rope.
Man.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome. I like the beef. I want the beef. I think
Mhm.
the Drew and Silas beef, I think that was taken way too far. I think that yes, I do believe that there is you can have beef with one another and do great. I think Silas's rap was amazing. I didn't know who he was talking about to the end. I still thought it was amazing. I like Drew. I like Silas. I've talked to them both, but I also spoke my mind. Don't ever bring a family member into the conversation. And
Okay.
it
that's
doesn't
fair.
matter. Nothing else like even in UFC, like you see the beefs and stuff that happen, and some of the stuff they say is hilarious. Some of the stuff they say is crazy. And the only beef that we've seen that have gone south and things happen outside is whenever, Duplessis said something about Sean's father, and that went outside, and Sean jumped the seats and started striking them out at a UFC event. And then the Conor McGregor, Khabib Nurmagomedov situation where he threw a dolly at the bus. Like there are certain things that you don't cross, and you can't cross. You can't bring in any family members. Can't bring in anything like that. And that's what makes the beef there. Like if you want to roast them on the person. And if you want to keep it to that person, keep it to that person. Don't bring anybody else that's not in that stuff. I think there has to be some rules and some guides. But if you have beef with someone, let it be known, and like when we watch these people play, like I want to know that there's beef going on, because we all knew that Paul and Ricky have beef, and when we watched them, we were all sitting there like this the whole time. Just
It
like,
made it so much better. It made it
Yeah.
so much better watching them trade blows, going back and forth like that. Pun withstanding there, obviously. But watching them make it like back-to-back putts, and just so much better knowing that you could see it on Ricky's face or Paul's face.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's what this sport needs the most is just real beef, and put these guys on the same card all the time, because sooner or later they're either going to keep battling with each other or one's going to surpass them. And I think Paul needed Ricky and Ricky needed Paul to get them where they're at today.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think we need to call out Double G for stealing all the beef, making disc golf boring.
Sometimes
That was dumb.
I shudder
I'm
about
drunk.
who I host with. Yeah, he's been booted. Well, we're about at time, Julian. Is there anything? What do you want to plug? Get out there, spend your time. We are glad to have you. I mean, you and I are buddies, so it was nice to have you on and actually get to interview you and not just shoot the shit on the disc golf course.
I love it. Hey, I appreciate you guys having me on here and let me speak my disc golf mind and thoughts, and then you guys sharing the same thing. Any of you guys want to follow me on J Marquez MMA? If any of you guys are in Arizona and want to play around, I'm always down. Other than that, if you find any beef on Twitter, on Instagram between disc golfers, doesn't matter the level, tag me, J Marquez MMA. I want to hear it. I want to see it. I want to be about the drama. And if you know any other content that's good to watch on YouTube, tag me, because I need that when I'm in camp.
Heck yeah.
Sounds good, brother.
Well, thank you so much for being on. It's a pleasure.
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, no worries, man. We'll catch you later.
Take it easy, guys.
The banished one. And son of Terrell. I said we sound like two medieval knights. Man, Where's the beef? That's the big question for today.
Yeah.
If you
where's
guys,
the beef?
we should get some stories in the comments about beef, not beef that you're aware of, beef that you've had with another disc golfer. I want to hear about it.
Or your dream beef. Give us your dream beef.
Dream beef sounds like the new name for impossible meat. Dream beef.
Grab that before Double G does.
I almost couldn't say it without laughing when I thought of it.
Oh,
Dream
Dream
Beef's a
Beef.
good one.
Yes, that's the title of the episode.
Big thank you again to Big Great Lakes Disc. It's better than Big. They're great. Great
Big
Lakes
Lakes
Disc for
Disc.
sponsoring the podcast. Code Hanging Loose at their site for 10% off. Thank you to my sponsors, OTB and Premier Flight, and formerly Team Shanked. And I'm still on the team. I still have the polo. We talked about this. Send us out, homie.
Thank you. Eat apples. That's all I got to say.
Eat apples.